PragICTS, expediting business outcomes.
What does it take for a software to succeed? Let's assume that part of the baseline, the software meets the requirements, ticks all the requirements. Let's also make the assumption that it is provided by a reliable party who is known for their great support and reliability. So what remains? The way I see it is that what remains is the usability aspect of it. Basically, the UI UX. UI is a subset of UX, so let's term it as UX, user experience. This is not something new. This is something we've been intrinsically applying in our day-to-day lives. That is, whatever the product that we purchase. If the product is a good product, is a quality product, and it meets in terms of its usability, the ergonomics, the creature comforts, all these things, we can safely make a statement, a claim that this is a good product. And then the results of it is you can see from the recommendation that one gives to a friend and family to recommending the product, so that others also can get the benefit of purchasing a particular product. That makes a difference. It's no different when it comes to software. Usually, from my experience, I've seen that whenever software, especially software pertaining to the enterprise and ERP, for example, is looked at, committees are formed and the requirements are effectively looked at and ticked off. But what is given a stepmotherly treatment is that really doing a proper due diligence to see whether the UX side of things are delivered. And it's not delivered to one set of users, because if you look at an enterprise application, it applies across the board, from the ground level, floor level staff, relating to operations, manufacturing, and to right up to the executive level. And their interactions with this one piece of software is different. If you look at the operation level stuff, it's all about efficiency, speed. Can I get this job done quickly, and move to the next? So their performance, their day goes through how effectively their tasks can be executed. So sometimes these are volume driven. How many invoices can I process in a day, in an hour? So that there are sometimes they are given such KPIs. So if the application UX doesn't elevate you to that, to deliver on that, their needs are not met. If it meets, they are happy. They really want to use the application and put it to full use, because it's a great experience for them. It makes them productive. It makes them bring efficiency. It makes them happy. So in certain sense, it's the primary index is the happy index, whether a person is happy using that. And then when it goes up the levels, to operations, to management, to executive, it's all about decision making, empowering them, whether they can make effective decisions, plan, forecast, etc. So there it is different. It's how the information data is presented and how it is accessed. And today, enterprise computing services can, range from, laptops, desktops, to mobile, to tab devices. And with these, with the recent advancements and rollout of technologies relating to AR, VR, and then also AI, and devices relating to it, will add to the enterprise portfolio of devices, computing surfaces. So UI/UX is critical. I have seen, there are companies who, when they go through the procurement decision and then they have procured the platform, they talk well of it, saying that, listen, we bought this particular enterprise brand, let's say top tier brand, SAP, or for that matter, Microsoft, Oracle, You name it, or any other top tier this thing, and then there's statements of relation. Hey, we got this. Because if it's a listed company from a shareholder's perspective, it sounds great because it demonstrates that company is using standards, best practices, software, all has a global recognition. So that builds on to the company's stature and branding. But then as it progresses, those statements of relations gets converted to aches and pains and resentment, saying that it's a good piece of software and it's not effective, it's not delivering to what we want. And if you really sometimes go and look at it, it's nothing to do with the functionality. Maybe the functionality is there, but it always points to, if you really summarize it, it points to UX. So UX is that critical for a piece of software. So it is very critical from a designer's or a builder's perspective, from a software company who is putting a software together. Articulate getting the requirements is one, but how that is delivered to the user is the UX, the user experience. And if time and effort, UX can be more in terms of effort and cost, it may be more, substantially more than the rest of the development process. So therefore, that required effort, that required quality of effort needs to be put to articulate the UIs, the user experience, not just one particular UI, but the user experience right across across all the user levels and all that. And then from the company's perspective, when they procure any enterprise software, they should do an independent due diligence pertaining to, on one end, whether that particular functionality is there at a detail level, at a granular level, both at a macro and a micro level, and also get those users who will be using them and put them through a process where the software is put to use to see whether they also tick off, saying that yes, this is great. So if these are met, then you are quite assured that the system you are going to procure, system you are going to roll out will meet its needs. There are other things to factor in, whether when customization is required, whether the provider of the software can deliver that. Because when it comes to enterprise software, sometimes it's not the fault of the enterprise software, but it's rather the partner who is the in-between between the consumer and the company who owns the software. If the distributor, if that partner doesn't have the competency to get that done, well, then also it adds to the part of the resentment pool that is there. So therefore, UX is critical, as in any other area, to want to have a very significant, a detailed assessment of it, because that assessment will help you to ensure that you have selected the right product and that product will deliver. And usually when software is purchased, people use the software. There are, I know for a fact, is that in banks and all these institutions still, the old green on black displays are still used. So therefore, UX is the mother of all things when it really comes to software, because you can take it for granted that it's the functionality is there. If the functionality is not there, no one is going to go and purchase it, of course. But functionalities can be assessed very easily, but not the UX side of things. Thank you.
PragICTS, expediting business outcomes.